Okay guys, here's our Ben Pearson 1990-91 target bow. And I've got sights on it. I think this is an M-850 sight system by Proline. Really not made for this bow. But you see, you got how these sights look kind of like crosshairs there. And these couple of halo sights here. But anyway, I just put this sight right here on, this one. This is a 100-yard sight. This is 90, this is 80, 70, 60, 50. The green one's 40, and then 30, and then 20, and that covers 10 too. So I don't have any room left on my 100-yard sight to move it. I could bend this metal rod up if I had to. So and I start out shooting at 30 yards, and then I'll go to 40, 50, 60, 70, one arrow at each of those distances. And then at 80 yards, I'll shoot 2 arrows. At 90 yards, I'll shoot 2. And at 100 yards, I'll shoot 2. And you can see here, this is my 30-yard flag right here. That's where I'm at. So we're going to see how the old bow shoots. And I'll tell you, these bows really shoot really well for what they are, you know, back in the early 90s and even the bows in the 80s. If you learn how to shoot them, they got some little quirks to them, then you will really appreciate them. They're still, you know, very accurate bows. Right here on this adjustable arrow rest right here, I've got a line that I drew right here, because sometimes with these old bows, the vibration, if you shoot them, you know, several hundred times, 1,000 times, this right here will move a little bit, and I've caught it where it moved up just a little bit, and it started throwing my arrows up a little bit higher on the target. So I always look at this right here, and it's got a screw right here. I can turn up my fingers right here, and I can lower it back down if I have to. And since you got vibration in these bows a little bit, you always want to make sure you tighten up everything every once in a while and make sure they, like on the sights and the rest and stuff like that, and your stabilizer. You want to always check that. I put a new D-loop on here. Just some FYI on the old bows here. And we'll see how we do. Okay guys, shooting the Ben Pearson 1990, 1991 target bow. Makes it about 30 years old. And just showing you, those bows can still shoot. So I'm shooting from 30 yards to 100 yards, 30 yards to 100. And this is kind of the group we got right here. And I number my arrows, say like 12, 3. I have them in sequential order, so I know what yardage I'm shooting at, because I've got flags out to 110 yards. And I use Vortex rangefinder for my yardage, so pretty precise. So my first shot here is arrow number 3. That's 30 yards. And I missed my target by just a tad over a 1/4 inch on the 30 yard. So then I shot arrow number 4, this one here, number 4. I hit the target at 40 yards. So between 30 and 40 yards, we're looking at about 1.25 inches distance between 30-yard and 40-yard arrow, and they're kind of vertical right there, which is good. All right, and then I shot 50 yards And guess what? Number 5 right here is 50 yards. It's kind of even with the target here, but for some reason, it's about 11 inches to the right. Now, generally, when that happens with me, I pull the trigger too fast or something. Torque the bow, or pull the trigger too fast, or both, for me to end over here. So I use a follow-up arrow for the 50-yard shot, which is arrow number 12 right here. So this was my second 50-yard shot. And I'm about 1.75 inches from the target at 50 yards with my second shot. So then we go to 60 yards, and hard for you to see, but right here, this is number 6 arrow, which is 60 yards. And 60 yards is basically hitting the target right here. That's 60 yards. And then the next arrow right here, it's hard for you to see, is number 7. 7 is 70 yards. And it's really touching the target too. And it's only a 1/2 inch above the 60 yard. So 60 is hitting the target, 70 is a 1/2 inch above that. And then this one here is 80 yards. And 80 yards we're 1.25 inches above the 70 yard. So that's pretty good shooting to me. So this is 60, 70, 80, and this is 40, and this is 30, and this is 50. And then this is number 9, this is 90 yards. And it's vertical too, which is really good for me because I really have a problem keeping them vertical with that bow. That's about 5.5 inches below the target at 90 yards. So that's a good shot for me. And that was 90 yards. Then I shot a second 90-yard shot, which was arrow number 11. I shot it differently than I did the number 9 arrow. I was trying to get up higher, I guess. And so arrow number 11 here is 7.25. Let's see, is 8 inches from the target. 90-yard arrow here is 8 inches from the target. So need to work on that one. And then I shot arrow number 2 here for 100 yards. So arrow number 2 is 100 yards, and I'm 3 inches from the target at 100 yards. Actually, I'm closer than that because the target is tearing apart. Probably 2.5 inches with 100 yards. So all in all, to me, this is not a bad group. My 90-yard sight, I need to adjust it. And my 100-yard sight, I cannot adjust it. It needs to go up high. It needs to go down lower. I can't go any lower on that sight. So I have to just estimate on the 100-yard. Because I got nine pin sights on this M-850 old style Proline crosshair type sighting system on the Ben Pearson bow. But since all of these right here are pretty good, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 yard, and then 90 yard, and then 100 yard. That's not bad. So the group here is probably 2 inches right here with 30, 40, 60, 70, 80 yard arrows right here. That's pretty good, 2 inches wide right there. And about 2.5 inches deep. If we could do that every time, what a great thing that would be. And 100 yard is not too far off either. Okay, so that's where we're at. We're missing one arrow though. And I think it's somewhere in this hay.